Tariffs have been around forever. The moment humans figured out how to trade, someone decided, hey, what if I charged people a little extra for bringing stuff into my territory? Boom, tariffs were born, and they quickly became one of the most powerful weapons in economic warfare. Jump back to ancient times. Rome, China, Persia, you name it, they all had tariffs. But it wasn't just about money, it was about control. Governments slapped taxes on foreign goods to protect their own industries, and sometimes just to flex their dominance over rivals. Fast forward to the American Revolution, and tariffs played a huge role in why the colonies were so ticked off at Britain. Taxation without representation? Yeah, that wasn't just about tea. Britain was hammering American merchants with tariffs, making it impossible to compete. So what did the colonists do? Revolt. And when the US finally got its independence, tariffs became one of its first major sources of income. In fact, before income tax came along in 1913, tariffs were the government's lifeblood, sometimes making up over 90% of its revenue. Without them, the US would have been flat broke. That's why one of the first laws Congress ever passed was the Tariff Act of 1789, a move to protect American industries and fund the government. Alexander Hamilton, he was all over it. Then came the Industrial Revolution, and suddenly countries were in a race to build the biggest, baddest economies. Tariffs were cranked way up to shield local businesses from competition. The US slapped massive taxes on imports, basically telling foreign companies, sorry, but we got this. It worked. America boomed. But here's the catch. Other countries fought back with their own tariffs, leading to trade wars, and trust me, they got ugly. During this time, US tariffs weren't just high, they were towering. From 1861 to 1933, America slapped import taxes averaging 50%, practically daring foreign companies to compete. It worked, but at a price. Cue the Great Depression, one of the worst tariff disasters in history. The Smoot-Hawley Tariff Act of 1930 was supposed to protect US farmers and businesses, but instead, it crushed global trade. Other countries retaliated with their own tariffs, and suddenly nobody wanted to buy anything from anyone else. It made a bad situation way worse, and economists still use it as a cautionary tale of how too many tariffs can backfire. After World War II, world leaders realized they needed to chill out on the whole tariff everything strategy, so they started signing trade deals to lower tariffs and boost commerce. With economies shattered by war, world leaders realized endless tariff wars weren't sustainable. Agreements like NAFTA, the EU, and the World Trade Organization lowered barriers, shifting toward a more open global trade system. But hold on. Just when everyone thought tariffs were fading into the background, boom, the modern era brought them back big time. Countries still use them as economic weapons, punishing competitors and shifting trade balance in their favor. The US-China trade war? Classic tariff battle. One country raises taxes on imports, the other retaliates, and suddenly prices go haywire. Today, tariffs are less about straight-up revenue and more about power plays. Countries use them as strategic weapons in trade negotiations. Just look at the US-China trade war, where billions in tariffs turned into economic leverage. And here's where it gets interesting. Today, tariffs aren't just about goods. There are digital tariffs, carbon tariffs, even tariffs aimed at controlling intellectual property. Governments are finding new ways to flex their economic power without resorting to old-school trade wars. Although, let's be real, trade wars never really stopped. Tariffs have shaped economies, fueled conflicts, and rewritten the rules of trade for centuries. They're not just taxes. They're strategic moves, power plays, and sometimes blunt force economic warfare. Whether driving industrial growth, triggering trade wars, or reshaping global commerce, tariffs remain a force that keeps nations on edge and economies in motion. If you want clear myth-busting tax insights, hit subscribe. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.